special guest today in the studio, we're very pleased to have from the National Weather Service, Mr. Nick Petro. And Nick, it's so good to have you with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Wayne.
Thanks
Appreciate
for being here. Now, what do you do for the National Weather Service?
My official position at the National Weather Service, I'm the Warning Coordination Meteorologist. So I serve as the liaison between National Weather Service products and services and all of our core partners. Core partners include emergency managers, law enforcement, first responders, the media, those with the mission similar to ours of public safety.
Public safety. We want to talk about this extreme heat we've been having here lately. Now, is this normal for July? Normally, July is the hottest month for us here in Wayne County.
Absolutely. Well, July and August are indeed our hot months. And really, temperatures in the mid-90s, even, upper 90s like we've had, that's not too far from normal. Normal, we just take the last 30 years and average that. And when you make the calculations, typically the high temperature would be in the low 90s. So just a few degrees above average or above normal, some would call it. So it's not particularly, I wouldn't describe this as a major heat wave that we've seen in the last few days or last week or so. But nevertheless, it's, temperatures this warm can cause impacts to people's lives and their ability to function, and can cause medical issues if folks don't take proper precautions.
How big an effect does the dew point, does the humidity have on us?
Well, certainly the humidity, when there is lots of it, makes it difficult for the body's natural cooling process to function. So in a real humid situation, the sweat on your skin, it has a harder time evaporating. And the evaporation of the sweat on your skin is the body's natural process to help cool the body. Okay,
what is the correlation between dew point and humidity reading or rate?
Sure. Well, the dew point is a measure of basically how much moisture is in the air. So, when it's a temperature actually at which if the ambient air temperature matched the dew point, then the atmosphere would be completely saturated. It would be, wouldn't be able to hold any more moisture.
Right.
Basically it's a comparison between how warm it is, how much humidity is in the air, and how much humidity that warm atmosphere can hold. So the further those two numbers are apart, the lower the relative humidity. The closer those numbers are, the higher humidity.
And the further they are apart, the more comfortable we are.
Well, it's drier, yes.
More drier,
comfortable.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Less humidity and all that.
Yeah.
Well, what about the human body now? We can only take so much. So what happens when we overheat?
Well, then the body loses its ability to cool at that point, and people will begin to feel impacts like upset stomach, like weakness, faint, dizziness. Those are the things that folks need to be on watch for when they're doing activities outside during the middle of the day, during the hottest part of the day. And when I say the hottest part of the day, I'm talking 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So now not to say that those impacts can't happen before 11 a.m. or after 4 p.m., but those are the most critical hours. So if you're outside, and you have to be outside, step number one for safety is try to avoid outside activities between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. But if you have to, if your job depends on it, make sure you drink lots of water, especially before, during, and even after you're doing those activities. Take more frequent breaks. Look for shade. Take more breaks than you normally would. And again, if you start to feel those impacts, seek shelter immediately. And when I mean shelter, I mean get out of the sun. Get to an air-conditioned building where you can cool down. Okay, now I know there's a difference between heat stress and heat stroke. What is the difference there? Well, it's just taking that up to a higher level where your body begins to feel the more critical impacts that could potentially, have more life-threatening conditions when you go from the heat, when you get up to heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Then your body is beginning to really suffer. So you're in real trouble when you get to that point. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You certainly want to avoid getting to that point. You start feeling that dizziness from being overwhelmed by the heat. If you're sweating profusely, and you basically sometimes even quit sweating because your body's just overwhelmed. Those are the signs. Don't ignore those signs. If you don't feel right and you feel dizzy and you feel faint and you're just overwhelmed by the heat, get out of the heat. Get some water, drink water, get shade. So when you start feeling those symptoms right off the bat, just immediately react to that. Take a break. Take a break. React. Don't try to push it. Don't try to push it. And if you can, again, try to do save those outdoor activities if you can to the hours before 11 a.m. and after 4 p.m. Okay. Now, does age have anything to do with this? I know It can certainly.
Yeah,
You know,
so
the
the
younger and the
older.
older are probably more susceptible with the body's ability to naturally fight off that heat and cool
So
down.
the trick is, once you start feeling these symptoms,
Yep.
immediately react
Absolutely,
to them.
absolutely,
Immediately.
yeah.
Let me ask you a couple of weather questions, if I would, since you're here. I mean,
Sure.
after all, you're the weatherman. Here lately, for latter part of June, early July, we have had, thank goodness, a lot of rain rolling through, and we're an agricultural community, and we certainly need the rain here. But now there's a point that we reach that we're almost saturated with rain. Here, Thursday night, we had a lot of rain coming in some major thunderstorms, a lot of wind with hail, and a lot of lightning as well. Now, this is not uncommon for this time of year.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So we should just expect more of it.
I would expect that, you know, any particular day could bring thunderstorms. Now, you know, obviously if you look outside and it's clear, there's not a cloud in the sky and it's dry.
Yeah.
If you feel it's really dry, if it's a dry day, the humidity's low, then naturally the risk for thunderstorms that day is low. The heat and the humidity are the two main ingredients for thunderstorm development. But, you know, those dry days are hard to get in the summertime. So it's just assume that there's going to be some storms around. It's not going to be a guarantee. But, you know, that's the first step in severe weather safety, is knowing that it's coming. So, you know, the best way to stay safe during severe weather, thunderstorm episodes and such, is to just know that it's possible. Because some days that thunderstorm coverage and the risk for severe thunderstorm impacts like severe wind or large hail or flooding, some days that risk is higher than others. So if you have a good understanding before you go out the door in the morning to go to your whatever you're doing during the day, check the forecast and look and see if there's an enhanced risk for thunderstorms or even severe thunderstorms.
Well, I am dedicated to the National Weather Service's website out of Raleigh, and I check it every hour, as a matter of fact. I do. But let me ask you, the impact of the rain and everything here in the Wayne County area, once we do get our ground is saturated, the more rain we get, we're more subject to flooding, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. You know, and flooding, I think to that episode a few weeks ago back up in West Virginia, where there was all the flash flooding and such. You know, in some cases, there's really, it's hard to avoid, or if you live in a complex terrain environment, you know, that happens. But you know, flooding and flash flooding and flooding fatalities can even happen in places around here where there's less, you know, terrain variation. Because every area, regardless of you know terrain, there has to be, you know, drainage systems.
That's right.
And when it rains real hard, and the drainage systems receive too much rain that then they can carry away in a short period of time, where's that water going to go? It's going to collect. It's going to collect in low spots. So, folks, even in relatively flat, you know, low, you know, without a whole lot of terrain, we still need to be careful for flooding.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is about 6 inches of water to sweep somebody off their feet, a few inches of water for somebody's car to stall. You know, if it happens near a stream or creek, you know, even in places like around here, you know, there could still be, you know, cars that get floated away or overcome. You know, most flash flooding deaths occur in automobiles because people just make the wrong choices. They drive through areas where water covers the road. When water covers the road, you don't know the condition of the road underneath. That road could be washed away and just hidden by floodwaters.
That's right.
Best advice, just if you see water covering the road, just turn around and pick another way.
Avoid that altogether. I'm reminded of Hurricane Floyd back in '99. The resulting flood was tragic. We did lose a life, and that's exactly how it happened. The lady was swept off the road, and she lost her life because of that. So it's turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown is our slogan.
That's
for that.
a slogan. And,
absolutely, yes.
Now let me ask you this as well. I'm just full of questions this morning.
Oh, please.
Okay. The National Weather Forecast, in fact, any weather forecast you see will have a percentage of rain.
Right.
Chance of rain, 20%, 50%, whatever.
Absolutely.
Now, explain that to me if you would, because I have had all kinds of theories told to me, but now is it that if there's a 50% chance of rain, that means 50% of a certain area will actually receive rain and the other half will not?
Well, you know, weather and statistics go hand in hand.
Yes,
so, you know, the great thing about weather is we've got incredible records of what has happened in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So we can compare what we see today in the weather pattern and compare it with past weather patterns and past what has actually occurred under those weather patterns.
Okay.
So by definition, when we say there's a 50% chance of rain, what that means is let's say the last 10 times the weather pattern matched what is current. So let's say we have a 50% chance of rain today. Okay. The last 10 times today's weather pattern that we're experiencing now occurred, 5 out of 10 of those times it rained. So we're just basically comparing today's weather pattern to the last times that weather pattern occurred and how many of those times it actually rained. So, but the really easy thing to remember, that's deep into the weeds of the science and the statistics. Yeah. The bottom line, the thing to remember is the higher the number, obviously, the better the chance it's going to rain.
Better the chance of rain, sure. I understand that.
But that's the official definition.
I got you. I understand that. Okay, I'll go back to my books and read again. Nick Petro is the warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Raleigh. And Nick, you don't know how much I appreciate you being with us today.
My pleasure, Wayne.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll have you back.
All right.
Good.
Thanks. Look forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.